Welcome to More Than Mindset, the only podcast that bridges the gap between spirituality and success. Go beyond the mind with clarity and confidence coach Kim Guillory and learn how to integrate your passion to serve with your skills and experience to create a business you love. Let's get started.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the show. I have a special guest today, Monique Derouen from Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Monique and I have a little past together. It's an interesting little history. We were in massage therapy school together, but we also have multiple certifications. We have that in common. We're both cosmetologists. She's an esthetician. We're both certified in Thai yoga and craniosacral and all of the things. So Monique, all of the fun stuff, Reiki masters, and we have a lot in common. So I brought Monique on today to talk about integrative massage therapy, because that's basically what it has evolved into, correct? Is that correct?
Yes. Integrative massage therapy is what I go by.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am just trying to live my dreams out here, Kim. I came to this beautiful town full of holistic, nice healing modalities in the area as a massage therapist. As I started practicing massage here in the Valley, I started noticing that there was something else that I needed to be doing, and that maybe I needed one more certification. Maybe I needed one more thing to add on to my list, because I wasn't getting the results I wanted to get with my clients. Once again, after 20 something years of touching people, something was still missing.
What did that look like?
It looks like my clients coming in on my table and asking for specific work, and we would spend, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, some people even 2-hour massages that I would work on, and they would go home and they would feel great for 2 or 3 days. And then all of a sudden they'd call me and, the restless leg was back, or the hip was messing up again, or, the pain traveled somewhere else. Like all of a sudden it wasn't the shoulder anymore. Now it was the neck. Again, I just kept seeing that, and I kept thinking, there's got to be more. There's got to be something else I can do here. These people are coming to me for help, and I'm giving them that, but it's not long lasting. We're not getting to the root. We're not getting to what's actually going on in the body. We're only slapping some Band-Aids on it. That wasn't feeling right for me. I want my clients to be able to have long-term pain relief and be able to manage these things. And it just kept coming back.
So I'm going to back up a moment and then we'll go forward again. But I remember when I met you, and, I'm saying we're both cosmetologists and we're both yoga lovers and body stuff. And you went from cosmetology to massage therapy. And I recall it was because you kept seeing cosmetology clients in pain. Was that right? Let me let you tell the story of what sent you to massage therapy school.
Okay. So yes, that's true. I was a cosmetologist for right at 20 years, I guess, whenever I finally went to massage school. And I was licensed to touch everything on the body except for the torso. And so again, my clients would sit in my hair chair and they'd tell me these stories about, they had the herniated disc and they had the neck surgeries and they still had the pain, or they had the foot surgery and they still had the pain and all the things. And I was doing a pedicure one day, and one of my clients says, "Have you ever thought about being a massage therapist?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I've thought about it many times, but I just have to go to school. I have to make time. I had to do all the things. I had to make the right spot in my life." And in that moment, I said, you know what? I'm going to go to massage school. And so I did, because I really thought that, again, I could help my clients, because if I could do this work on their scalp and their hands and their feet and their legs and make them feel this good, what happens when I actually touch their spine? Right. And so I went to massage school. It was a great experience. I learned a lot of things that I never want to do, as well as what's really great for me to do in massage world itself. So just touching the people in general and hearing the same stories, hearing the same pain. But I started noticing things as well. Like my clients would tell me the same story when I touched a certain part of their body. They had a story that they were telling in their body itself. And I got really interested and wanted to read those stories in their body, if that makes sense. Like that's kind of what was intriguing me.
Yeah, I would say we both fell more under body work than, I mean, it surely wasn't Swedish massage, that brought us in. And I just did Thai yoga and cranio, and my people stayed fully dressed. I did very few Swedish massages unless I was doing some sort of healing modality with it, whether it was essential oils or, something else, but kind of the same thing.
So yeah, at that point in time, I was licensed in, aesthetics, cosmetology, barbering, among, all the extra stuff that we had already gotten and done. I had a nail tech certificate, basically all of these different things. And so I thought, why not? Why not be a massage therapist too? What do I have to lose? So I went on to school. I definitely love the education that I got. I had a lot of great information as far as anatomy and physiology and, the body systems. And I really understood the way the nervous system worked and all of our organs. And that was very intriguing to me. And it pushed me to really study in those spaces so I could get really familiar with the anatomy of the body, so that I could do the best I could to help my clients because that's my thing. I'm a helper. I'm a healer. That's what I do. And so I learned as much as I could and I took in all that information. And when I got out of school, I was just ready to go. I knew all the things and I was going to be a great massage therapist. And then I became a massage therapist. And then I learned about what the things they told us all in massage school would happen about how, our bodies would break down and we could only do so many a day and blah, 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 all the massage stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. I remember talking to several massage therapists before even going because, I was already doing Thai yoga and body work and stuff before, kind of like with you, as a cosmetologist also, and nails and feet. We were kind of already doing a lot of reflexology and stuff. But I think the thing that stuck with me that you're kind of going for right now is where we were told your body's going to break down. You need to stand in a certain position. You need to not use this kind of pressure. You want to use tools to help you. It'll take around 4 years to build your practice, and then you will be burnt out in 7. Is that what you're referring to? Those kinds of things?
Yeah. And it was like, okay, so I got 3 good years of money making, getting my hands ready, right? Like I had in my mind, I'm going to blow out my wrist. I had been told when I was younger, I would have issues with arthritis in my hands and stuff like that. And I just kept thinking about all those things that could possibly happen and how much time did I actually have to make the money to help the people and do a good job before I was done.
And, even looking at like in the massage therapy industry and the marketing that's used, it's all that same story. Like you should do this so that you save your body and save your hands so you don't have to work so hard. So right, it's kind of the same thing as it's for sure insinuated. And we are basically hypnotized by what we hear over and over and over and over. So let's get to the part about then I became a massage therapist and let's talk about reality of the massage therapy industry and finances and like just all of that stuff. What have you tried? I remember some of the stories. I was like, oh, heck no, we're not going there.
So, man, the first thing I did was, of course, I went to work in the spa that I was already employed in with all my other licenses. And, it was a great spa. It was a multi-million-dollar spa. It's a beautiful space. And I was super grateful to work there. They paid me really nicely and I had all the fluffy, benefits, the nice table that went up and down automatically, the clients built in, all that good stuff. So that, was okay, but I was still under a corporate listing. And so I still had to follow the rules and play the game with them. And that's not really my thing. I'm not that kind of girl. So then I decided I would start doing massage at home. And I rationalized in my mind that $35 an hour for a massage was a perfect amount because I already was paying for my utilities and I wasn't, renting a building. And I had rationalized all these reasons. All I'm buying is a cup of cream, an ounce of cream on each person. And I'm washing laundry already at my house. And so $35 sounds great. And I even went as far to say, for people that referred me, 5 $35 clients, they would get a free massage. I mean, I was doing all the gimmicks. I was doing all the things. I was handing out, cards with percentages off, and people wouldn't even get on my table for $35 freaking an hour, Kim. Like, can you imagine? I would be like a 6-hour massage client for $35. Like, get after it. But
Because
I
the
couldn't even
mind
feel it.
says, I'm only making that anyway.
Yeah, that's what my commission was. So what's the difference? And $35 an hour, people still didn't want to pay. And the people that did pay it raved about the massage I get. They were so excited to get this. They would say, this is the best thing I've ever done. You have the perfect pressure. You got all the right spots. You found things that I didn't even know I had. And I'm like, great. Let's sign you back up again. Hey, if you keep coming, I'll keep charging you $35 an hour. So if you come once a month, $35, you're my new client. Still didn't work. And so then I thought, oh my gosh, maybe I'm too cheap. Maybe I look like a Walmart massage therapist. Like I had that kind of judgment of myself. Then I started thinking and spinning off of that. So, anyways, after I got called out by a couple of my massage therapy friends, I quit offering the $35 an hour massages because they fussed me and said, that the quality of my massage was too good to do that and I shouldn't do that. So I sunk back down in that space and decided that I would go up on my prices a little bit.
But your mentality was, I'll get more clients, right? That was like, what was your mentality? What was the thought behind it?
Well, I thought if I make it affordable, then I can get people to come in once a month and we can actually start working on their issues. If they come in once a month or once every 2 weeks, then we can build a series program to where they're coming in on a regular basis and I'm able to help them aid in their healing long term. Like they're not just coming in once in a while because they have a backache. They're coming in for transformation for their body. And I thought this was the way to give it to them. I was certain this was the way.
But are they coming in for transformation? Like you?
No, not at all. They have no idea what's really going on with their bodies. That's what was crazy. They didn't. They were just coming in for relaxation. They had no idea that their shoulder was like legit stuck or why it was stuck. They just knew that they had maybe done something or picked something up funny and it didn't feel right.
We still have a long way to go to educate society on the benefits of massage. Even in pandemic, we're seeing this. It's not essential. And, of course, for us, we believe it is very essential to be in connection and to have the support and the guidance of, a mind-body worker with us. And so you've tried the gimmicks, you tried all of the things, and then you were moving. And what was your vision?
So we were moving to Colorado. And my vision was to come to this super cool holistic space with these natural hot springs and beautiful environment. And I'm just going to be a rock star massage therapist. I mean, I'm going to go there and I'm going to kick some tail, country comes to town kind of idea. That's where I was at in my mind. And I thought, it's such a great space and massage therapy's got to be a really popular thing. And I have all these extra things. Like I have Thai yoga, I have aroma touch. Like I have all these cool certifications that other people don't have. So surely, again, I'm going to be the number one. They're going to be looking for me, because I know all the things. I can do all the extra stuff. I have all of those certifications. And that was a lie too.
Well, and right, it's so much better somewhere else. So we naturally think people in Louisiana don't know and they don't understand massage and they so behind on time and they don't respect what we do. Like that's what the mind literally tells us, right? So I'm going to go over there where it's so much better, where people are enlightened or awakened or aware. And
I got here and I did the same thing I did in Louisiana here. I started out again with $25 half-hour massages and $45 an hour. And if you rebook every month, I'm going to keep you at that price. I did all that stuff again, and not even realizing that I was actually doing the same thing again. And it didn't work there. And guess what, Kim? It didn't work here either. It didn't work here.
It's really crazy. I remember when you were telling me, I was like, no, what? wait. Because it's so not what we think it is, right? These neural pathways run really, really deep. Like it's everything from childhood, it's everything from what our parents taught us, about money and people not paying. And it's all of the gimmicks that the marketing world tells us to do and try. And like, what do you call it whenever they buy those discounted things through email and Groupon? And oh my God.
And that's just not the kind of work that I want to do. I mean, I put a lot of energy and effort into my schooling. I put a lot of energy and effort into the work that I do. And I didn't see the value that I could offer people. I didn't know that I was valuable. No one had ever told me. Like, I didn't believe it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. It's not being able to see ourselves for one thing. We don't realize, like, we've spent a lot of years learning about the body. And when you don't have the confidence and your thought is, oh, I need to be cheaper for them to come because you believe the money is the problem, right? Same here. I mean, I did this for years. I remember thinking, at one time, if I can charge the cheapest and get the most people because I loved it so much and I wanted to help so many people, that it was going to be nice. It's like we can just laugh at ourselves now, right? Because we could help no one.
Absolutely. Totally laugh about it now.
What about the client that believes they have to have deep tissue in order for it to work? How often do you hear that?
Man, this is such a common misunderstanding with massage clients. They believe that the deeper you go, the better the massage is. And I believe the exact opposite. I believe that we don't have to go deep at all. I mean, we can barely touch you and still make the impact, because the work that I do is based more off of the nervous system and what the body does naturally. And so if the nervous system is balanced, then the body does what it's supposed to do. And it gives you permission to release these spaces without that physical attack of the deep tissue work. And here's the thing, Kim, if I dig into somebody and they're resistant, we're not getting anywhere except for me having a jammed up thumb by the day over. It doesn't go anywhere. I have clients that just believe, again, that the deeper you go, the better that massage is. And I beg to differ.
It's almost a mindset of getting their money's worth, I found. Like they need to, because I hear what people are saying. Like we go to the spa and we're with groups of people and it was like, how was yours? How was yours? How was yours? Oh man, it was good. She, got really hard, got in there. And so there is a part about it about like, it's almost like exercise. Like it needs to hurt to know we did something. It's really a mentality. And then you have the money mentality on top of that. Like it was worth it because it was so intense. And I'm with you. If you can get me to trust and to relax and to go down, my body will melt like butter and heal itself. Like it's being able to unlock access to the parasympathetic nervous system. And it's super simple, super easy. And we're saying like we can do it by barely touching. We can do it by not touching at all.
Yeah, even that. And that is the most mind-blowing of all.
So how did you tackle, I'll say, or like, how did you handle that piece of educating the client? Because we have to change the mindset. We have to bring in the awareness.
So the first thing that I started doing was with my regular massage clients, even the ones that desired the deep tissue and asked for it, I would explain the nervous system and how that works to them. And most of them were up to it. And every once in a while, one of them still wanted me to dig into them. And some of those just may not be my clients long term. We may not mesh well together because that's not the work that I desire to do. But what happened is when I would get to the end, I would start doing a little cranial work, maybe under the scalp or on the face. And I would just kind of show them how just that simple light touch and even some lymphatic work sometimes or a little light myofascial release could be so beneficial to the body. And once those clients were turned on to that and they understood that, they trusted me to take them into a different space deeper. And what was even cooler than that is that with COVID right now, out and about, I cannot put clients on my physical table. It's against the law. And so I don't have that option. But what I do have the option to do is the work that I currently am doing right now. And I don't even have to put them on the table. I can meet with them through Zoom on the computer. I can meet with them on the telephone. And because I know how to help them control the nervous system, we can get them into that relaxed state with just a simple conversation and a little bit of emotional processing work sometimes even, which has been really, really cool.
And another part about, we spoke about this earlier, is, the deep tissue part, and what so many have turned off and why the deep tissue is important, and I'll let you talk a little bit on that, because I recognize the same thing on the massage table.
So, yeah, I think that deep tissue comes into play when people can't feel, when their feelings have actually been shut off and they need to feel something to know that they're even around or existing or alive. And it's got to be something more than the pain that they're feeling in their body. What they're not understanding is that connection from where this pain is actually starting from. And so, because that is what I understand and what I know, I can take them into that pain relief space in such an easy manner.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like not understanding like why someone cuts themselves or pulls their eyelashes, like has these little habits. It's like either the emotional pain is so intense, you have to find something painful that's more than that, or like you want to get in your body. Guys, we want to be in our body. I'll just talk a little bit about this and just allow you to tell your story, because whenever you and I did connect, once you moved to Colorado and you saw what I was doing, you were like, girl, what's up? I need to know about this. Right. And then you actually became a client, and then stepped into the training because it is such an amazing process. You're like, I want this too. I want to help people. And it is new. So it's not something that you're going to find at a conference. It's something that was created through the actual work, this process. So could you just share a little bit of your experience once we started working together? Like, because it was you experiencing it in your own life first for you to be able to help someone else.
Yeah. So, as we started doing the work, and I really understood that I myself had never learned to process emotions or trauma or things that were stored in the body. And through doing this work, I was able to pull those things up and look at them and see that that was still holding on there. And I was carrying that in my physical body. And so, as we went through these spaces and unlocked that, those things opened up and that space released, and I had freedom and I had movement and I had flexibility and in those areas. And so I knew that if I were able to do that on my own, with the help of you, then I could also offer that to my clients. And how could that benefit them in their daily life and with what they have going on, compared to digging my elbow in their back, like which is a better option? And so as we started working with, clients, they started seeing the results as well. And so I knew this was legit. I knew it was real. It wasn't just something that I had processed and been through and been able to release, but now I'm able to do that with my clients and they're getting those results as well. So it's a really phenomenal experience to go through. It's a really interesting space to be in, to be able to let that pain go. And so it looked like mass confusion before, and now it's just very clear. Everything's really clear and very airy and light and just not heavy.
And once you experience that integration, that's what we'll call it, because it's an integrative process. Once you experience that integration of the mind and body in this seamless, holistic approach, how would you describe or explain that in your own words?
So, first, as we started integrating these things, it was very new. It was something I had never experienced or felt before. It was nothing I was ever taught about. So, at first, it's kind of that scary. These things come up and they're here, and now I'm facing them. But that was only for a short second. It was so minimal. And then all of a sudden, everything was different. I could move differently. I could see differently. There were things that I wasn't angry. I wasn't heavy. I wasn't holding things that weren't mine anymore. And so I really started understanding, unconditional love, not judging things or people. I understood what impact this had in my body. What was holding me down was a lot of emotional turmoil, and it was very real and it was very painful. And I don't feel that anymore. I don't have the shoulder that's stuck. The hip moves great. The ankle is super flexible now. There were physical things in my body that were not functioning. And after I've gone through this, those things aren't there anymore. They don't cause the restrictions that I had before. I'm not afraid to try things or, do the sports that I was scared to do in the past, or climb the mountain or ride the bike or do the things that have held me back, because I was programmed to believe that my body would break down and that by a certain age, I would have all these issues because of our family histories. And none of that's true. I don't have any of those problems, the doctors told me. I function great. I'm healthier than I've ever been. And I feel phenomenal and excited to wake up and take on the day. I don't dread things. The mental stability is so clear. I'm so clear with what I want in life. And I just do it. I don't worry about things. I'm not scared.
Yeah. So I'd like to touch a little bit on, because I was very much like you in this department too. Prior, it was like if I wasn't getting a massage or doing acupuncture or acupressure or at the chiropractor it was like I was constantly at someone sticking, probing, doing. And I remember you with the TMJ and the thing with your hand, like you were always digging and trying to move muscle and tissue and trying to like get in there and open. How is your experience now not doing that? Like we're always probing and picking and trying to release or heal something. It's hard to explain to someone who's not experienced it though, right? It was like me trying to explain it to you before you experienced it. It's mental and emotional. There's a switch. There's access. And once we have access, the emotional processing technique, hands down, to me, is what shifts permanently, shifts and rewrites the mental story and that emotional patterning.
Yeah, absolutely. Without that, I would still be in possibly debilitating pain on a daily basis. And I knew that I did not want to stay in pain. And I had tried so many things and I didn't have any other options. There was nothing else to do besides stay on pain meds and have surgery. And that was just not where I was going. I just made 40 years old and I've had tons of surgeries already. And I just was not prepared to do any more. I'm done with doctors. I have no interest in them.
And alcohol consumption, right? I mean, it was everything. We can't
I was
forget
a
about the
master
alcohol.
buffer with wine, man.
Hey, alcohol sales are up 30% since this pandemic. So it's like, that's the go-to. It was just a constant, same thing with me, right? 15 surgeries, 24 years of medication, it's 7, 8 prescriptions at a time, constantly on, not being able to sleep, not being able to trust myself and make decisions because I couldn't feel into my own emotions, drinking on a regular basis. It was crazy. I don't know if you had the same experience, but once the emotional processing, like once all of that integrated and embodied, the desire left. Like it was the weirdest thing. It wasn't like I'm going to try to quit or I ever even thought it was wrong. I thought people who didn't drink were stupid. I was like, you're no fun. Like, why would you not drink? That's ridiculous. I can't even imagine not drinking.
Yeah, that was very interesting for me because, growing up in Southwest Louisiana, when we're babies, we're given a Miller Lite. I mean, that's what we do. And so, I grew up watching people drink for everything, for a funeral, for a wedding, for a birthday party, for your kid's birthday party. I mean, we broke out mimosas for kids' birthday parties so that the moms would have something to hang out and do. I mean, this is how we were raised, and there's nothing wrong with that. That was what we were taught. But what I started doing was I started taking it on and doing it to buffer. So I would leave work. I hated my job. I went straight to happy hour, numb the pain, go home, cook dinner, take out a bottle of wine. And I drank the whole bottle so that I could go to sleep at night because I didn't want to take the Ambien because I drove a car one time on Ambien and I thought that wasn't a good idea. You see what I'm saying? So I replaced one thing with another. And even when I moved to Colorado, again, coming to this great holistic area, I was still drinking very heavily when we moved here. And I just realized all of a sudden it just didn't feel good. It wasn't doing anything for me. And I started doing this work and I started processing all these things. And where I would normally go grab a bottle of wine and a bag of potato chips and go to bed and cry all night, instead I journaled and I dumped. And instead, I came to presence and I started working on what was going on in my head and I started putting the pieces together. And it was like that became the replacement for the stuff that I did because I didn't need it anymore because I could handle it on my own. And my brain wasn't actually going to explode from thinking about what was going on in my life, And I ran away from all the problems and they didn't go very far. They were all in my head. So the drinking I was still doing even when we left Louisiana because the problems were still there. I mean, anybody that knows me knows I was quick to make a cocktail. That was my jam. But I have no want for it at all. It doesn't sound good to me. And I'm with you. People that didn't drink were crazy. Like, who doesn't drink alcohol, right? Like, let's have a good time. But now I know that there was a lot of underlying stuff that was hidden beneath all that hardness and that sadness. And the alcohol just helped me buffer and get through the moment to where I didn't feel like I was going to die.
And I don't know that there was ever a time not to drink. Like, I mean, it's just a thing you did. There wasn't like, we don't have judgment about it. And I still don't. It's just the thing you do. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I would get off work. I'd get a 12 pack. I'd go sit on the patio. I'd get a pack of cigarettes and, kind of just let it all go. And then I remember when I had become a health coach and we were doing we had a peer group and they were saying how someone was an alcoholic because they drank 1 or 2 glasses of wine a night, and this stuff. And I remember thinking back then, like, hold on, you're going to take their best friend away. Like, are you going to go be their best friend? Like, what's going to happen here? Because they had judged it as wrong or considered it being an alcoholic. If you drink every day, you must be. And that's really when I started noticing it. I mean, I've had some really funny drinking stories. I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I won't talk about it here just in case, and if ever you guys come to a retreat or a live event, you get all the good stuff. And I just didn't think there was anything wrong with it. And so it surprised me when I didn't finish the bottle. It surprised me when I didn't go to the store to get it afterward. I was like, what is happening here? Like, I didn't recognize myself. I didn't know who I was without the altered state of being. But like you're saying, there was so much emotional stuff bubbling inside, trying to explode. And we were just trying to keep it settled, keep it down, turn it off, keep it away, right? It was so scary to be with ourselves because I did the same thing as you. I ran away and everywhere I'd go, that bitch would follow. Like, she went everywhere as I went.
I know. I'm like 24 hours away from Louisiana and came right with me. Like she just got in a backpack and rode on my back. Come on, let's go.
Monique and I have a history. We have a lot in common. We have a infinite love for mind-body connection, for soul essence, for really coming to our authenticity of who we are without the stories. Because those stories are so strong, the generational patterns, societal's conditioning, and especially in the South, like we have our own culture. We have our own way of being out here. And it's a beautiful way. We are the best when it comes to connection and community. Someone's house burns. And I mean, all of the neighbors are there. We are going to clothe your kids. We're going to feed you. We're going to give you money. We're going to give you a place to sleep. We do all of the things. Like, it is the best when it comes to that. The one thing we lack, well, there's probably 2, but for sure, the one thing we lack is the health. We just don't have an understanding. So you can see why it took us so long to figure it out and why our journey is the way it is. And, how we kept going from training to training to training to heal ourselves. So, how would you say you experience mind, body, or healing or massage therapy in general? Like, how would you perceive it now compared to before you came through the program, before you came into the coaching and the work and the integration and process? Like, what's your perception of it then compared to now?
So my perception difference is that I can be a massage therapist till I am old and gray for the rest of my life because I'm not going to hurt myself because I have a different technique. I'm not going to blow my wrist out. I don't have to stand long hours. I don't have to charge minimally. I know my value. And I know that I can work with people and actually get them results. Like they can actually heal their own bodies. We can actually move forward and they don't have to continue in this path and be in chronic pain for the rest of their lives and take medicine and have the surgeries and do all the things that are being recommended because there's another option. I didn't know that was an option before. I really thought I was probably going to work for about 10 years and that would be it, I figured by the time I'm 45 or 50, that's a wrap. I'm done. But I have total confidence that I could do this work for another 30 years, easy, maybe longer.
It is so satisfying and fulfilling knowing that I can help clients help themselves and share the tools, like teach them the steps of what to do at home to help themselves. I mean, of course, it takes, good 7 years to retrain the brain. So it's not, it takes repetition. So you have to hear it again and again and again. We have to continue that process. It's a practice, that coming into presence and unveiling and navigating and then going back and going back. But I'm with you on that. Like, I love working. I love the results my clients get. I love watching you guys transform. I mean, it is watching the way y'all are evolving and the way this work is evolving in your own approach. Like, it's integrated for you specifically to use your way. I think that is the best feeling for me, is the empowerment is coming from not do exactly like I do, but do you. Here are the tools. Here's the framework. Here's the process. I'm going to show you how to use it. And then you're going to take your skill set, your experience, your passion to serve, and to make it your own.
Taking the information, taking the process and plugging it into what I already know and what I already do, and being able to evolve into this whole different realm of being able to heal people. It's going to be amazing. And what we've done so far with clients has been just life-changing for them. There are no words for what this work can do for somebody.
That was my next question. What are your clients saying? Because they're all being introduced to it brand new. They've not heard of this before, right? What's the feedback that you're receiving from your clients?
I have gotten really, really great feedback from my clients, from people saying my headaches are completely gone. Someone that dealt with chronic migraines. I have clients that have had restless leg syndrome for years, 4 and 5 attacks a week that are down to 0 attacks. It's really interesting. I have clients that have diseases like Raynaud's, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis that have had minimal, if not 0 flare-ups since they've started doing this work. It's just so interesting to watch that switch flip when we're getting to the actual root causes of the pain, and not, again, just putting a Band-Aid on it or giving a pill or, here's your shot of antibiotics, get better, come back and see us next month when you feel bad again. Like, we are working with people one-on-one for multiple weeks in a row, and they are getting transformation and healing that they would have never been able to experience doing anything else. It is absolutely amazing. I am mind blown at their progress as well. So I understand you when you say you feel like the mom that's so proud. I just love that they trust me to take them into these spaces and that they're open to getting this healing and that they believe they're worth it. So that's been so awesome.
It's like taking the leg braces off and being able to stand. It's like that feeling of watching someone get out of a wheelchair. It's rewriting the nervous system in such a gentle way. I want to cry. Like, I really want to cry at the progress, the process, the ease, and like how powerful those neural pathways were, like how the possibility of rewriting them, and exactly what you just said right there. It's addictive.
It is very addictive. And once you find healing in one little space, it's like, oh, what else can we do? Where else can we go? And even now, Kim, I mean, I've been doing this for quite some time on myself personally, besides reaching out to you guys and the team that we work with to help support me and help in my own healing. But every once in a while, stuff still comes up for me, and it's so easy. It's so smooth. I mean, I can reach out and in what do we do? An hour and a half, I can be back to totally calm, all the pain's gone. And as I'm pulling these things up, something else loosens and something else loosens. And then there's a little more space, and there's a little more room. And so just creating the space in the body so that it does what it's supposed to do in a natural, balanced, stable state is how we get this healing. Such a cool thing to experience, and to be able to do it over and over and over again anytime something comes up, anytime I hurt myself, even if it's a traumatic thing like I hit my elbow or I fall down, I can still not have pain because of the way we're taught to do this work.
This is the part where I can just kind of hang out right here and just in such appreciation and just weep the discovery of this. And I didn't even realize what it was. When I was in it, I didn't know that my nervous system was on fire. I didn't know that my primal brain was on fire. I didn't understand the way my mind worked. I didn't understand, access and lack of access where we had been locked up, I really didn't. And I was so frustrated. I spent so much time trying to heal, seeing like everything you can possibly imagine. I ran the test on, I say like, a spit in a cup and shit on a stick. Like, I did all of that stuff. I took all of the supplements and the vitamins, and they ran my hair through scanners. And I mean, all of it. There was just so much. So what makes me super excited is to have so many of you trained now that I feel like it's endless. Like, it's how many people we can reach and where we can go with this as they come in. And even, the More Than Mindset group, where we're starting to educate just the layperson, on how they can start to experience it. I mean, you can work this a good year or 2 years yourself before you actually need someone else to assist you, and help you. It takes time for the brain to be able to open up and to receive possibility. Like, listen, what if it were possible? What if you could heal? What if you did believe? What if we could rewrite it? What if we could retrain your brain? We're at 50 minutes here, but I do want to talk a moment about TMS because I think it's so important, and that's the mind-body syndrome, how it hops and skips and jumps and travels, because I want to talk to those clients, those patients who I was the one. My granddaughter came out of the room and she had a brace on every part of her body with my crutches, and even a neck brace and a knee brace and, my corporal tunnel braces. And that's when I woke up and realized, oh my God, like, it's all over my body. I was always chasing pain.
When I was packing up my house, had a very similar story of all the crutches and the ankle boots and the all of the braces that were all over the place. And I put them in a little pile, and I think I actually have them in the storage shed. And I think I would like to burn them whenever I go to that house and empty it out, because I'm never using that stuff again. I don't need it. It's such an interesting connection. And once you make the connection, the possibilities are endless. Like, this was not anything that we were ever taught. We were never taught about the mind-body syndrome, or that was a real thing. But once you actually experience it, it unlocks a whole different level for not only the person, but the practitioner, for me as well, to lead them there.
Yeah. And the pain was one thing, but when it really started with like all of these rashes and like it was all around my mouth and started on my skin, it looked like little round things on my skin that would just, it almost looked like a ringworm, but it wasn't, but it was just like coming out of my body. And you had that experience too. It was whenever you first started and we were really getting into this, it sheds underneath the skin. It's so annoying because it's the hardest thing to try to manage, but we can even manage like skin rashes.
It was annoying because I was actually annoyed though. That was
Exactly.
the thing, right? Like I was so mad, my skin freaked out. It
Yeah.
exploded out of my skin.
Rage.
Like so much anger, so much irritation. And I started working with people with chronic sinus issues, and I started working with people that had tonsillitis, and I started going back to all of my old stories, and I could really make these connections. I could really see exactly when, you know, the pain started in my body, what was going on in my life at that time. And when I had to have the emergency surgeries, just all of a sudden my uterus was gone and I had to have the surgery, in that moment. My ovaries are exploding, my gallbladder's exploding. Why? I was healthy, I was young, there was nothing wrong, right? To the outside world, nothing was wrong. Why did all those things happen? It was because what was going on inside of my mental and emotional body, like what was going on there. And these things were manifesting in my body and causing illness and disease and pain and trauma, just tragic, crazy trauma going on all over my body. And all this pain was there. And now I know it was all TMS. And I kind of feel silly about it after that. And so then I had to get into that guilt and shame and all that stuff as well, Brought up a whole different topic.
Yeah. Well, what we can't express, the emotions that can't be expressed, they are repressed and suppressed. Like they will materialize.
Yeah,
They,
we were just never
yeah,
taught. We were
didn't
never
know.
taught to do
I
that.
don't regret it. You know what, Monique? I don't regret it,
No,
but I
not at all.
remember being in it and I remember being frustrated and spending a fortune and like running all these tests. And I mean, I was just like constantly somewhere trying to run, like I felt like a hypochondriac, and it was like, I remember like I would drink green juice for like 14 days straight. I wouldn't eat. I was trying to get rid of the rash of, because, it was gluten and dairy. And like I bought into all of that. I bought into all of that hype and I was having none of it and it was not getting better. And I mean, I was so frustrated and the anger, the rage. And so, of course, it's materializing underneath my skin and in sinus and allergies and our vision and hearing. And, it's anyway, unbelievable. So I have to say, I don't regret it. I don't think you do either. I mean, I would do it again to experience the joy and bliss that I have now that I never even imagined was possible. And to be able to feel my body in such a calm state and to be able to sit in anything, even in this epidemic, even in like all of death and like all of these tragic things that happen and be able to experience the emotion, experience the sensation and not lose my mind over it, just be in the experience and still be calm inside.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, I suffered with anxiety and depression for years, and to be able to not get into that space and be in that pain. And if I do slip down there, because I'm human and sometimes those things come around, I have the tools to come out of it. And I do it with ease and grace. And it's so effortless and so seamless because of what I know now compared to what I knew then. I mean, I would have never made it through these kinds of things years ago. And now it's just like breathing. It's just easy for me. It just makes it simple, most of the
Imagine.
time.
Yeah. Imagine living your life's legacy as an integrated being in your natural essence in ease and flow. Like it's
What
basically the
I'm doing
promise of the 5-step approach, the manual to gaining power and control of your life, right? It's really true. What
yeah.
if it could be true?
Hey, it is true. I'm living it.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Thank
pretty
you
awesome.
very much for coming on. So we will put your information in the show notes on how they can get in touch with you. They can find you. You do work in person and online. I mean, you'll be back in person whenever the doors open, which is very soon in your state. And I very much appreciate you coming on, sharing your story. We'll have you on again and we can speak about, different topics. If the audience wants that, they can come into the More Than Mindset group, find you there as well. The guys in the More Than Mindset group is where we support this process. So it's a great place to come make yourself a little soft nest. You can just be the watcher, be the observer, And then you can become the experiencer. It's where we take this work a little bit deeper. It's absolutely free. And you're welcome. You're welcome to join, ask questions, see if we can support you. All right. Until next week. Bye, Monique.
Bye, Kim.
Thanks for listening to this episode of More Than Mindset.